Welcome back to What's the Story, and today's story is about Look at Us Now, which is on this album and was requested by Nick Brown. Thanks for requesting this one, Nick. I think it's one of my favourites, if not my favourite track off Flowers Where the Horses Sleep at the moment, so thanks for requesting it. If there's a song you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, put it in the comments and I will do a video on it. So Look at Us Now is a transportation ballad, and transportation ballads are a type of folk song and they were very popular in the Victorian times. They're all about convicts and transporting them from one country to another. At the time then, the British government thought it was cheaper to put them on ships and send them off to Australia or Tasmania or other colonies than it was to put them in prisons. So there were lots of songs written about them at the time. And in fact there are two transportation ballads on Flowers Where the Horses Sleep. There is the ballad of Mark Jeffrey. Mark Jeffrey was an actual convict around during the Victorian times, and for some reason then he didn't get a transportation ballad written about him, so I wrote him one. And the second one is Look at Us Now, which is kind of like a futuristic sci-fi slant on a transportation ballad. Instead of being set on a ship, it is set on a spaceship, and the convicts are being transported from one planet to another, and it's a conversation between the convicts themselves and a prison guard who's kind of taunting them as they go and letting them know what they're in for. And as they approach their destination, then we realise as we're listening that they're not being taken from Earth to another planet, they're in fact being taken from a recently colonised Mars back to planet Earth. The idea being that the whole of humanity has up sticks and moved off to Mars because Earth is no longer habitable, and they send their prisoners there. And at the same time we realise that, then the prisoners realise that the beautiful blue planet that they've been reading about in the history books all their lives no longer exists, and it's this barren, dry wasteland, or in the song then the prison guard describes it as a speck of sunburned sand. And the song ends with them pleading the prison guard not to land the ship, not to take them down, and they start reminiscing of all the places back on Mars at home that they're missing. So I did some googling and I found some actual locations on Mars, and they are the Ghostly Dunes and the Hesperian Plains, which I imagine will look very, very nice when we've colonised Mars. I think the idea for the song came from two ideas really. It was the fact I wanted to do a modern transportation ballad, and the fact that there seems to be this disparity or this mismatch at the moment. We're spending loads of time and energy and resources exploring Mars, which I think is amazing. It's really inspirational, it's incredible to see these things, but at the same time Earth isn't quite ready yet. You were kind of ruining it a little bit with climate change. We don't have that under control, so it makes me wonder, should we just fix this planet before we look elsewhere? Or are we looking to sort of abandon this and go off to Mars? I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? I'd love to hear, so put in the comments what your thoughts on that are. Look at Us Now was written as a sci-fi story written in the distant future, but it does make me wonder if it will no longer be science fiction for much longer, and if it will come nearer the present. So that's the story behind Look at Us Now. I hope you found it interesting, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about it, so stick them in the comments below. And if you've got any other questions about the song, then I'll do my very best to answer those as well. And if there is another song that you'd like me to talk about in a future episode of What's the Story, then put it in the comments, and I'll do a video about it. See you next time.